Welcome to the NCU. That is Nerd Culture Undisputed. I'm Kyle Wright, sitting across from Mr. Adam Goff, and we are about to talk about Obi-Wan Kenobi, the new series coming to Disney Plus, God knows when. But we're sitting here, Adam. By the way, good to have you.
Yeah, well, hey, glad to be back.
Good to have you here. We were sitting here talking after we did our Morbius recording, and we're trying to think of what's gonna be the whole point of Obi-Wan, like the whole point of this show. So obviously we know this is gonna take place after Episode 3. We know Ewan McGregor's coming back as Obi-Wan. We know that Hayden Christensen is returning as Anakin or Vader
Or both.
So let's start with that. What's
Right.
Hayden Christensen's role here? What do we think?
Well, before we started this, you brought up a good point. We've seen the, spoiler, we've seen the flashbacks from Boba Fett.
Yeah.
Is that a route that they're going to take with Obi-Wan Kenobi? They're not going to bring Hayden Christensen back just to put him in a Darth Vader suit and have him act out.
Right.
And so if you've got Hayden Christensen in there has to be some kind of look back, right? So,
Right.
And if it were me, my hypothesis is, I think Obi-Wan is going to look back while he's sitting there by himself in his little cave in Tatooine, and he's going to think about, where did I go wrong? What did I miss? Are there instances that I could have been like, holy crap, I saw the darkness, but maybe I just ignored it. Right. And I think that's probably where you're going to see the Hayden Christensen, role come in. Now, do we see Darth Vader, as the current rendition of Darth Vader, in that time frame? Yeah, probably, and more than likely to be Hayden Christensen in there. But yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting.
I wonder how long after Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, I wonder how long after this we are, because now, it's been 16 years since that movie.
Right.
At this point, 17 by the time that comes out, because I think Revenge of the Sith was 2005.
Yeah, but it can't be too late just because
It can't be too long
Luke
after it,
was,
though.
17, 18 when
Obi-Wan
he
found
first
him.
found Obi-Wan.
So it's got to be maybe about 5-10 years.
I would say at most 10 years.
At the most 10, maybe 5. Maybe like you got a toddler Luke running around at some point in the show.
Right.
But I think Hayden Christensen, like you said, there's no way you bring him just to be in the Vader suit. And by the way, Vader better be in this fucking show.
How can you leave him out?
You can't. But I feel like I trusted Disney until I started Book of Boba Fett, which, by the way, later this week on the channel we'll have our mid-season episode of Book of Boba Fett. Hopefully, Episode 4 will give us a little bit more positive to talk about the show so far. But keep that in mind, guys. Be looking for that later in the week. But I'm having some trust issues right now. If I'm being real with you,
I understand. Where did Disney touch you?
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Not in the heart.
Show me on the doll where Disney touched you.
Oh my goodness. Not in my heart. Not in my heart. They got me with Mando, and then they led me in, and here I am. I'm sad now.
Right.
They've got me. No, but you're not gonna bring him in just to put him in the Vader suit. So there's obviously got to be some flashback scenes. Maybe we get scenes of him in his castle, which I hope. Like we saw it in Marvel's What If. We saw Vader's castle on Mustafar. As crazy as that is. So I hope we get a live action version of that, like that we've always gotten in these books and comics. Like, let's see him going through the transition into Vader. Let's see him in his meditation stage where he's got the helmet off and his breathing mask on, and the bacta tanks as he's recovering from all this.
Right.
PTSD is a real thing, and I can imagine.
Your brother in arms, basically whipped your ass, and you lost your legs to a fire. You'd already lost one hand.
Yeah. So,
I think it's going to be interesting to see, is this 5 years down the road? Is this 1 year, after the incident, right?
Yeah.
Or after the battle with Obi-Wan. And, that was one of the things that I always kind of balked at was here we have Anakin portrayed by Hayden Christensen as this kind of whiny, entitled baby, when he's fighting Obi-Wan.
Right.
I hate you. Right. And then we get to Darth Vader, his voice portrayed by James Earl Jones. And
better be a thing too. Looking at you, Disney. Better
right?
be a thing.
And it's like two different styles, right? I mean, James Earl Jones is so controlled and meaningful, whereas Anakin was so outlandish, right? Like, where's Padme? No, right at the end, and then when he's in the suit, and then now he's more controlled and more villainous, honestly.
Yep.
So,
yep.
So it's going to be interesting to see where I think you're right. Where they pick that up is going to be crucial. But like if it is a year, how much flashbacks can we actually get?
Can't get too many. Unless you get some like non-movie flashbacks,
right?
If that makes sense. So
right.
like they de-age Ewan McGregor a little bit and Hayden Christensen, and we go back to like the Clone Wars and like in between episode 2 and 3,
Mm-hmm.
like we go back to those days when they were where you get the mentions of all their little side missions at the beginning of Revenge of the Sith.
Right.
You get to see some of those, like their friendship, and then it's, I don't know, it pans back and forth, kind of a little bit like what Boba Fett's doing right now, just hopefully not as bad because we know all those stories.
Mm-hmm.
Like, let's focus on the future.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry. Make sure I get that in.
You got a little scary there.
Yeah.
Scary eyes.
But I just want to get the Obi-Wan Kenobi story that we've always been wanting. Like, we've been asking for this for so long.
How long have we just opined for Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan Kenobi?
More.
And now we're finally getting it. Let's do it right.
Let's do it the right way.
Let's take care of the character. And give me some freaking Liam Neeson in this as Qui-Gon.
Yeah, so there's that's what I was going to bring up next. We've heard rumors of Liam Neeson coming back as Qui-Gon Jinn as hopefully a Force ghost in this movie. Are you down with that idea?
Oh, 100%. Well, I mean, you saw Yoda kind of allude to it, and not allude to it. He actually said it. He's like, you've got more training to do. While you're, you'll stay busy while you're keeping an eye on Luke, and it's going to be from your old master. So, I mean, we heard about it. Now let us freaking see it.
Yep.
Let's go. I mean, Mark Hamill as the ghost, when he cast himself out, and then, in what is it, 9 now, he comes back. So we've seen that stuff before, and I'm all here for it. I'm here for all of it.
Absolutely. 100%. I mean, there's no doubt that Liam Neeson has wanted to come back to the Star Wars universe for quite a while now.
Dude, he got one movie.
And he only got one movie. And Qui-Gon's a story that, I mean, if you've ever read comics or books or anything, Qui-Gon's a story that can't be told in one movie.
Right.
Especially not with him training Obi-Wan. I mean, Obi-Wan is known to many as like the greatest Jedi that ever walked. And
definitely fan favorite.
Definitely fan favorite. I mean, on the cinematic side, especially, probably the best Jedi that we've seen until Mandalorian, where we finally got that side of Luke. But But anyway, I just hope that we get some Qui-Gon. I hope that we get some Maul in this show as well.
I was getting ready to ask you, what villains do you think we're going to have? Obviously, Anakin / Darth Vader, but I mean, it can't be all about their dichotomy. There has to be another underlying.
This is the rise of the Empire,
right
here, like that. So there's your play. I mean, I know that we've seen stormtroopers in like every show, but that's them. This is when they're starting to take over the galaxy. So there should be a lot of imperial threats. I bet that we can get a live action version of Grand Admiral Thrawn. Could see some of that, but Maul's got to be in this show at some point.
So where does that pick up from? After he gets cut in half? Like, what are we looking at here?
Yeah, so I don't know if you've watched Clone Wars or Rebels, but he's definitely still alive.
Okay.
He lives through being cut in half. He comes back with like almost like spider robotic legs.
I have seen that, yeah.
And he lives on, and he's a badass. And he was in Solo. He was in at the very end of the Solo movie. And I mean, it's time. I mean, this is something that people have wanted also for a very long time. Darth Maul, same story as Qui-Gon, right?
Ray Park, right?
Yeah, Ray Park, yeah.
He was a stuntman before he did all that, right? Like that was his claim to fame, and then he's done like bigger acting roles since then. Too.
Since then, yeah, and he's teased that he's in this show,
yeah,
with makeup, like showing him putting on his makeup and saying like coming soon or something like that. And
let's go.
We obviously saw him in Solo. And I mean, I think that just much like Qui-Gon, this is a story that can't be told in one movie.
Right.
Give it to us again.
So, are we keeping with the whole 7 episodes per season? What are we looking at here?
I hope
Mandalorian was what, 8?
Mandalorian was 8. Boba Fett's 8. So it's looking like 8's gonna be about the normal. And I hope it's not like a limited run like Marvel's been doing with 6 episodes. That's not enough. That's not enough to me.
No, it's not.
Especially not when you do, like, I mean, as much as Book of Boba Fett is kind of irritating me with it, you do have to have these flashbacks. We've for years, like, how the hell did he get out of that Sarlacc pit?
Right.
And now with Obi-Wan, it's going to be how the hell did he end up back on Tatooine? I mean, we know he takes Luke to Luke and Owen, right? No,
Uncle Owen.
Owen in Peru. That's it. We know he takes him to Owen in Peru. We know that's where he ends up, and he stays close. But like, I want to see that relationship a little bit. Like, let me see him. Obviously, Luke is aware of Ben Kenobi.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he brings him up. He's like, Obi-Wan Kenobi. He's like, is that old Ben Kenobi?
Yeah, right. So I wonder, like, are we going to get any of that? Like, depending on when this is, are we going to see like a 7-8-year-old Luke being mentored by Ben Kenobi?
Right.
And then he starts to sense the presence of Vader, like on Tatooine, and he's like, I gotta go. And I don't know. I'm just trying to think of what the hell.
Right. And so you're in between what, 3 and 4?
Yeah.
Right. So obviously Rogue One took place during that time as well.
Yes.
So you do have the makings of the Rebel Alliance. Death Star is in there as well.
Yep.
There's a lot of fascinating things that I think we're going to see in this show. And then, you know, Rogue One is one of my favorite Star Wars films just because it bridges that gap. And it was very well done.
Oh, perfectly done.
So being able to see this side of it, because that's what everybody thought when we were getting Rogue One. It was like, are we going to get Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan? Please. Can we?
Some
Can we
point,
do it?
Maybe.
And then now here we are. So I would really like to see them kind of tie Rogue One into it a little bit. You know, maybe not obviously focus on it, but, you know, it has to be part of that storyline because that is such a huge part of, you know, the origins of the Rebel Alliance. So,
last question here.
Mm-hmm.
Any chance of Ahsoka Tano showing up in this series to maybe bridge the gap between her show? We know she's getting her own show.
Yeah.
We know she was Anakin's Padawan. Or do we maybe see more of Hayden Christensen in her show?
Or do we see her as his Padawan in this? And then this is where, you know, this is where we see more of that in live action where, you know, I know it was there in the Clone Wars, right?
Clone Wars, yeah.
Right. So, so maybe this is where we see how she ended up on the plane that she was on in Mandalorian.
Yeah.
So it could be. And who doesn't want more of her?
Oh man, she was awesome. I would imagine they'll save that for her show.
Yeah. Yeah. So maybe it's into the season episode 8, hopefully 15, 12, whatever we get.
25.
Right, 25. But I think you're right. I think you'll probably see it at the end of it where, you know, Obi-Wan is probably reaching out and trying to connect with more Jedis that are out there because he needs help. And it's like, oh, hey, by the way.
Yep, I agree with that. Well, you got anything else? I mean, I just hope it's good.
Yeah, and
I know it's going to be.
How can it not be?
How can it not be? I've asked that question recently, though.
Yeah, you asked that question about No Way Home, and what did you get?
Oh, that was very good.
Okay.
Very good.
Right.
Very good. I've been surprised before. Positively, negatively, all of it.
Dude, it's Obi-Wan.
That's Obi-Wan.
Let's go.
It's Ewan McGregor. He's incredible. I'll tell you a story about Ewan McGregor, the last movie I saw with him when we get off the air.
All right.
All right,
I even
guys.
like The Island, by the way.
Huh?
I even like The Island. It's a Michael Bay film, but I liked it. I digged it. It was good.
I haven't seen it.
Oh, dude, it's him and Scarlett Johansson.
I'm going to see it.
You need to check it out. We'll talk about it after.
Yeah, we'll talk about it after. All right, guys, we're going to get out of here. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you hit the subscribe button, hit that notification bell. And Adam, thank you for being here again.
Thanks as always for having me. It's always fun.
All right, guys, we are going to get out of here. We will see you next time.